Welcome to Topical Economics. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of our insightful videos on key economic concepts. In today's video, we're diving into the topic of employment and unemployment. I'll be walking you through some past paper multiple-choice questions, carefully analyzing each one to explain why the correct answer is what it is. Whether you're preparing for exams or just want to strengthen your understanding of economics, this video will help you get to grip with important concepts in a clear and practical way. So, let's get started. Starting with the first question. The retail trade in a country has unemployed workers in one region and job vacancies in another region. What could explain this? A. Costs of employing workers are lower when there is unemployment. B. It is more expensive to live in the area where the retail jobs are available. C. Retailing demands the same skills everywhere. D. The geographical mobility of labor has increased. Reference, 2022 May-June version 2. The correct answer for this question is option B. It is more expensive to live in the area where the retail jobs are available. This suggests that workers may not be willing or able to move to the region with job vacancies due to high living costs, even though there are jobs available. High costs of living, such as higher rents, utilities, or transportation costs, can discourage people from relocating for work, even if jobs exist in another region. Analyzing the other options. Option A. Costs of employing workers are lower when there is unemployment. While it may be cheaper to hire unemployed workers, due to wage flexibility or other factors, this doesn't explain why jobs are unfilled in one area while workers are unemployed in another. The issue seems more about location and mobility, not costs. Next, option C, retailing demands the same skills everywhere. Is not likely true. The retail industry might require some specific skills depending on the location, such as knowledge of local markets or language, but this wouldn't explain regional imbalances in job availability and unemployment. Lastly, option D. The geographical mobility of labor has increased. While increasing mobility can help alleviate regional unemployment, it is not the explanation here if mobility hasn't actually occurred. The problem described suggests a failure of mobility due to factors like cost of living, rather than a general increase in mobility. Moving to question 2. An economy experiences a recession and moves from full employment to 5% unemployment. Which movement from X to Y on the PPC diagram shows the consequence for the economy? Reference, 2022 May-June version 1. The correct answer for this question is diagram A. When the economy enters a recession and unemployment rises to 5%, it suggests that some resources, primarily labor, are now underutilized. This leads to a reduction in the total production capacity of the economy. The economy is now not operating at full efficiency, and output falls, shifting the economy inside the PPC. Moving to question 3. Which two types of citizens are counted in the calculation of the unemployment rate? Reference, 2022 February-March version 2. The correct answer for this question is option D. The two types of citizens that are counted in the calculation of the unemployment rate are those who are unemployed and willing to work and those who are employed. The unemployment rate measures the percentage of the labor force that is currently unemployed but actively seeking employment. Therefore, individuals who are not working but are actively looking for a job are counted as part of the labor force and included in the unemployment rate calculation. Similarly, those who are employed are also counted in the labor force. Other groups, such as full-time students, prisoners, and retirees, are not included unless they are actively seeking work. Likewise, stay-at-home parents and those who are voluntarily unemployed, not actively searching for a job, are excluded from the labor force and do not factor into the unemployment rate. Thus, only individuals who are either actively seeking work or currently employed are considered in the unemployment rate calculation. Moving to question 4. Which type of unemployment is the result of a permanent fall in the demand for the products of an industry? A. Cyclical. B. Frictional. C. Seasonal. D. Structural. Reference, 2019 October-November version 3. The type of unemployment that results from a permanent fall in the demand for the products of an industry is, option D, structural. Structural unemployment occurs when there is a long-term decline in demand for a particular industry or type of job, leading to a mismatch between workers' skills and the jobs available in the economy. This can happen due to technological changes, shifts in consumer preferences, or globalization, all of which can permanently reduce the demand for certain industries or sectors. Analyzing the other options. Option A, cyclical unemployment, is related to fluctuations in the economic cycle, such as during a recession. It's temporary and caused by a downturn in overall economic demand, not a permanent fall in demand for a particular industry. Next, option B, frictional unemployment, is the short-term unemployment that occurs when workers are between jobs or are entering the workforce for the first time. It's not related to a permanent decline in industry demand. Lastly, option C, seasonal unemployment, occurs when demand for certain jobs fluctuates based on the season, example, tourism, agriculture, or retail. It's also temporary, not permanent. Moving to question 5. What is most likely to have caused a long-term decrease in the numbers employed in the banking sector of an economy? A. Frictional unemployment, caused by relocating a bank's headquarters. B. Seasonal unemployment caused by reduced customer demand in the summer. C. Technological unemployment caused by an increase in internet banking. D. Voluntary unemployment caused by a reduction in wage rates. Reference, 2019 May-June version 3. The correct answer for this question is option C. Technological unemployment caused by an increase in internet banking. Technological unemployment occurs when advancements in technology lead to a reduction in the need for human labor. In the context of the banking sector, the rise of internet banking, mobile banking apps, and automated services, like chatbots, AI-driven customer service, and digital transactions, has reduced the demand for traditional banking jobs such as tellers, clerks, and customer service representatives. These technological innovations can lead to significant long-term reductions in employment as processes become more automated. Analyzing the other options. Option A, frictional unemployment caused by relocating a bank's headquarters, is likely to be short-term, as workers may need time to relocate or find new positions, but it's not a long-term trend affecting employment in the banking sector overall. Next, option B, seasonal unemployment caused by reduced customer demand in the summer. While seasonal unemployment can affect certain sectors, like retail or agriculture, it is not a significant or long-term factor in the banking sector, which generally experiences steady demand throughout the year. Lastly, option D, voluntary unemployment caused by a reduction in wage rates. While wage reductions can influence workers' decision to leave the industry, this is less likely to be a significant long-term trend compared to technological changes. People might leave for better-paying opportunities, but technological unemployment is a more widespread and enduring cause of job loss. Moving to question 6. Which group should not be included in the measurement of unemployment? A. Redundant unskilled workers seeking alternative work. B. Seasonal agricultural workers in out-of-season periods. C. Students over 18 years continuing with full-time education. D. Those who have left school and cannot get a job. Reference, 2020 October-November version 2. The correct answer for this question is option C. The group that should not be included in the measurement of unemployment is students over 18 years continuing with full-time education. Unemployment statistics focus on individuals who are actively seeking work but are currently without a job, and only those in the labor force are counted. Full-time students who are not actively looking for a job are not considered part of the labor force, as they are occupied with their studies and not engaged in job search activities. Therefore, they are not counted as unemployed. In contrast, redundant workers seeking alternative employment, seasonal workers out of season but actively looking for work, and individuals who have left school and are unable to find a job are all part of the labor force and would be included in the unemployment figures. Consequently, students who are continuing full-time education do not meet the criteria for being classified as unemployed, as they are not part of the active workforce during their studies. Moving to question 7. The diagram shows the rate of unemployment and the periods of recession in a country between 1978 and 2012. What can be concluded from the diagram? A. Each recession lasted for more than 2 years. B. Recessions occurred at regular intervals. C. The unemployment rate peaked in a recession period. D. The unemployment rate rose during recession periods. Reference, 2018 October-November version 1. The correct answer for this question is option D. The unemployment rate rose during recession periods. From the diagram, it is evident that the unemployment rate increased during the periods of recession, as indicated by the marked recession years. In times of economic downturns or recessions, businesses tend to cut back on production, leading to layoffs and higher unemployment. Therefore, the unemployment rate tends to rise during these periods, which aligns with option D. Analyzing the other options. Option A. Each recession lasted for more than 2 years, is not necessarily true. While some recessions may last more than 2 years, the diagram doesn't provide enough information to conclude that all recessions lasted for over 2 years. Next, option B. Recessions occurred at regular intervals. The diagram doesn't show a consistent, regular pattern of recessions occurring at fixed intervals, so we cannot conclude that recessions happened at regular intervals. Lastly, option C. The unemployment rate peaked in a recession period. While the unemployment rate may rise during a recession, the diagram doesn't necessarily show that it peaked during the recession itself. Moving to question 8. A country has full employment. Which policy is most likely to lead to a fall in economic growth in the short run, but an increase in economic growth in the long run? A. Lowering the retirement age. B. Raising the school leaving age. C. Restricting the immigration of key workers. D. Selling assets owned in other countries. Reference, 2020 May-June version 3. The correct answer for this question is option B. The policy most likely to lead to a fall in economic growth in the short run, but an increase in economic growth in the long run is raising the school leaving age. In the short term, this policy would reduce the number of young people entering the workforce, leading to a temporary decrease in the available labor force. As a result, there might be a slowdown in economic growth due to fewer workers producing goods and services. However, in the long term, the policy could have a positive impact on economic growth by increasing the overall skill level of the labor force. With more years spent in education, the workforce would likely be more skilled, productive, and innovative, which would drive higher long-term growth. The other options are less likely to have the same effect. Lowering the retirement age would reduce the labor force and could hinder short and long-term growth. Restricting immigration could harm economic potential by limiting access to skilled labor, and selling assets owned abroad might provide short-term gains but wouldn't foster sustainable long-term growth. Therefore, raising the school leaving age is the policy that best matches the description of potentially slowing growth in the short term while fostering it in the long run. Moving to question 9. What may cause an immediate increase in the working population? A. A higher birth rate. B. A higher death rate. C. A higher fertility rate. D. A higher rate of net immigration. Reference, 2017 October-November version 3. The correct answer for this question is option D. The factor most likely to cause an immediate increase in the working population is a higher rate of net immigration. Net immigration refers to the difference between the number of people moving into a country, immigrants, and those leaving, emigrants. A higher rate of net immigration means more people are entering the country and joining the labor force, which can immediately increase the working population. Immigrants often come to work, and their presence in the labor market increases the number of individuals available for employment in the short term. Analyzing the other options. Option A. A higher birth rate can lead to a larger future workforce, but the impact on the immediate working population is indirect. Newborns do not enter the labor force for many years, so a higher birth rate wouldn't cause an immediate increase in the working population. Next, option B. A higher death rate would likely reduce the working population, as more people would be leaving the workforce. Therefore, it would not lead to an increase in the working population, either immediately or in the long run. Lastly, option C. A higher fertility rate. Similar to a higher birth rate, a higher fertility rate would eventually lead to more people entering the labor force in the future. However, it would not cause an immediate increase in the working population, since it takes years for children to grow up and become part of the workforce. Moving to question 10. What is likely to fall when the rate of unemployment in a country falls? A. Business confidence. B. Consumer spending. C. Government budget deficit. D. Government revenue from taxes. Reference, 2015 October, November version 1. The correct answer for this question is option C. When the rate of unemployment in a country falls, the most likely outcome is government budget deficit. As the unemployment rate decreases, more people are employed, leading to higher overall income and output in the economy. This typically results in increased government tax revenue because more people are paying income taxes and businesses are generating higher profits. Additionally, with more people working, the government may spend less on unemployment benefits and welfare programs, reducing its expenditure. As a result, the government's budget deficit is likely to fall, or at least improve, because the increase in revenue and decrease in expenditure helps balance the budget. Analyzing the other options. Option A, business confidence. A fall in unemployment generally leads to higher business confidence, as it signals a healthier economy with more consumers having disposable income. Businesses may be more willing to invest and expand, not less. So, business confidence is likely to rise, not fall, as unemployment decreases. Next, option B, consumer spending. Lower unemployment usually means that more people have stable incomes, which can lead to an increase in consumer spending, as individuals are more confident in their financial situation. Lastly, option D, government revenue from taxes. When the unemployment rate falls, government tax revenue is likely to increase due to more people paying income taxes and greater business profits leading to higher corporate taxes. Moving to question 11. The table shows the unemployment rate in 3 developed economies in June 2013. What is the main cause of high rates of unemployment in developed economies in periods of recession? A. Decreases in total demand. B. Movement of labor between countries. C. Reduced levels of technological change. D. Regional inequalities of wealth. Reference, 2015 May-June version 1. The correct answer for this question is option A. The main cause of high rates of unemployment in developed economies during periods of recession is decreases in total demand. During a recession, economic activity slows down, leading to a reduction in overall demand for goods and services. As consumer and business spending decline, companies experience lower sales and revenues, which often results in layoffs or hiring freezes. This reduction in total demand, the demand for goods, services, and labor, is one of the primary reasons for rising unemployment during a recession. As businesses reduce production, they require fewer workers, leading to an increase in unemployment. Analyzing the other options. Option B, movement of labor between countries. While labor mobility, example migration, can affect unemployment rates in certain situations, it is not the primary cause of high unemployment during recessions. In fact, recessions tend to affect unemployment rates within a country rather than being caused by international migration patterns. Next, option C, reduced levels of technological change. While technological changes can impact employment in the long term, through automation and efficiency improvements, they are not typically the main driver of high unemployment during recessions. In recessions, the primary issue is a reduction in economic activity and demand for goods and services, not a lack of technological progress. Lastly, option D, regional inequalities of wealth, can contribute to varying unemployment rates within different regions, but they are not the primary cause of high unemployment across developed economies during a recession. During recessions, the entire economy typically suffers from lower demand, affecting unemployment levels in most regions. Moving to question 12. A government aims to reduce unemployment through a supply-side policy measure. Which measure would it use? A. It would increase government spending. B. It would increase tariffs on imported goods and services. C. It would introduce retraining schemes. D. It would reduce the rate of interest. Reference, 2018 October-November version 2. The correct answer for this question is option C. The supply-side policy measure most likely to be used by a government to reduce unemployment is: it would introduce retraining schemes. Supply-side policies focus on improving the efficiency and productivity of the economy by enhancing the supply of labor, capital, and other resources. A retraining scheme is a direct supply-side measure because it helps workers gain new skills, making them more employable and capable of filling available job vacancies. Retraining can be particularly useful for addressing structural unemployment, where workers' skills are mismatched with the jobs available in the economy. By improving skills, workers are better equipped to meet the demands of a changing economy, which can help reduce unemployment in the long run. Analyzing the other options. Option A. It would increase government spending, which is typically considered a demand-side policy measure. It can stimulate demand for goods and services, which may reduce unemployment in the short run by encouraging firms to hire more workers. However, this does not directly address the supply-side factors that affect the availability of labor or its productivity. Next, option B. It would increase tariffs on imported goods and services, which is a protectionist measure, often seen as part of a trade policy. While it might protect certain domestic industries from foreign competition, it does not directly address the supply-side factors affecting unemployment, such as labor market flexibility or skills development. Lastly, option D. It would reduce the rate of interest. Here, lowering interest rates is also a demand-side policy. It can encourage investment and consumer spending, which may help reduce unemployment in the short term. However, this measure does not directly address the supply-side factors affecting the labor market, such as the skills of workers or the efficiency of labor markets. Moving to question 13. What describes frictional unemployment? A. Unemployment caused by a general fall in economic activity. B. Unemployment caused by the time of year. C. Unemployment caused by wages being too high. D. Unemployment caused by workers searching for jobs. Reference, 2019 May-June version 2. The correct answer for this question is option D. Unemployment caused by workers searching for jobs. Frictional unemployment refers to the short-term unemployment that occurs when workers are transitioning between jobs or entering the labor market for the first time. It happens as workers search for a job that matches their skills, preferences, and location. This type of unemployment is usually brief and occurs naturally in a healthy, dynamic economy as people move between jobs, get laid off, or choose to leave a job to seek better opportunities. Analyzing the other options. Option A, unemployment caused by a general fall in economic activity, describes cyclical unemployment, which occurs when overall demand for goods and services in the economy decreases, leading to job losses. It is caused by economic downturns or recessions. Next, option B, unemployment caused by the time of year, refers to seasonal unemployment, which occurs in industries where demand for labor fluctuates at different times of the year, e.g., agriculture, tourism, or retail. Lastly, option C, unemployment caused by wages being too high, is a description of classical, or real wage, unemployment, which occurs when wages are set above the equilibrium level, causing employers to hire fewer workers. Moving to question 14. The table compares the distribution of employment in selected industries in 2 years. How did the distribution of employment change between year 1 and year 2? Reference, 2021 May-June version 2. The correct answer for this question is option B. Between year 1 and year 2, the distribution of employment in selected industries saw notable changes in the primary sector, while the secondary and tertiary sectors remained relatively stable. Employment in the primary sector, which includes agriculture and mining, fell due to a decrease in agricultural jobs, with employment in agriculture dropping from 4 million in year 1 to 3 million in year 2. However, employment in mining remained unchanged at 2 million, resulting in an overall decline in the primary sector. In contrast, the secondary sector, which includes manufacturing, remained unchanged, as employment in manufacturing stayed steady at 6 million in both years. The tertiary sector, retailing, also saw no change in employment, with retail jobs holding steady at 4 million. Overall, the shift in the employment distribution between Year 1 and Year 2 shows a fall in the primary sector due to a decline in agriculture, while the secondary and tertiary sectors saw no change. Therefore, the correct answer is that the primary sector fell, and the secondary sector remained unchanged. Moving to question 15. The table shows the rates of unemployment and real GDP growth for an economy in 2014 and 2018. Which combination of policy measures would be most effective in returning the economy to the 2014 level of economic activity? A. A decrease in direct taxes and an increase in the rate of interest. B. A decrease in government expenditure and an increase in the rate of interest. C. An increase in direct taxes and a decrease in the rate of interest. D. An increase in government expenditure and a decrease in the rate of interest. Reference, 2020 October-November version 2. The correct answer for this question is option D. The most effective combination of policy measures to return the economy to the 2014 level of economic activity would be an increase in government expenditure and a decrease in the rate of interest. This combination of expansionary policies is designed to stimulate demand, boost economic growth, and reduce unemployment. An increase in government expenditure would directly raise aggregate demand by funding public projects and services, thereby creating jobs and encouraging higher consumption and investment. This would help mitigate the rise in unemployment, which had increased from 3% to 10% between 2014 and 2018. Additionally, a decrease in the rate of interest would lower borrowing costs for consumers and businesses, encouraging more spending, investment, and credit growth. This would further support economic activity, stimulating demand for goods and services, and helping to reverse the negative GDP growth, -2%, in 2018. In contrast, the other options would either have contractionary effects or be less effective in addressing the issues of unemployment and slow economic growth. For instance, option A, a decrease in taxes combined with a rate increase in interest rates, would encourage consumption through lower taxes, but would also discourage borrowing and investment due to higher interest rates, ultimately dampening growth. Similarly, option B, a decrease in government spending and a rate increase in interest rates, would exacerbate the slowdown by reducing demand in the economy, while option C, an increase in taxes with lower interest rates, would be counterproductive, as higher taxes would reduce disposable income, negating the potential benefits of lower interest rates. Therefore, D provides the most effective approach by stimulating both demand and investment, addressing the recession's negative effects on unemployment and GDP growth. Thank you for watching this video. I hope the explanations of past paper questions and the reasoning behind the correct answers helped clarify some key concepts. If you found this video useful, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Topical Economics for more insightful lessons and exam tips. Your support is truly appreciated, and it encourages me to keep creating valuable content to help you succeed. Feel free to leave any questions in the comments.